Welcome to Cosmic Commentary's Real Football, where we make football great again. Before we get into the podcast this week, we just want to say a quick message in memory of Kobe Bryant.
Kobe was a guy that inspired millions to pick up a basketball and strive to be their best. He was, and still is, a role model for achieving excellence, not only for basketball but anything in life, through that now famous Mamba mentality. We hope that everyone can continue his legacy by maximising their potential to be the best they can be and just achieving excellence.
Truly an athlete that surpassed his sporting code and actually was an AC Milan fan. Today's topic, however, is about cup competitions in honour of the FA Cup, which is going on right now in the Premier League, and just talking about the differences between the top and the bottom of different leagues, and also within the same country, the big teams and the smaller teams. So please, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. So today it's me and Cos, and we're going to try something a little different today. We don't have any Premier League fixtures going on because the FA Cup, well, they actually play that on the weekend. They don't just congest midweek to just jam in more fixtures, which is a nice change.
After the Christmas fixture, you can't really keep doing that, can you?
Yeah, they get stuffed after that.
Oh, yeah.
But England's actually getting a winter break this season.
Are they?
Yeah.
When's their winter break?
I think they get like 10 days off. Something
it's better than nothing, eh?
However,
from where they're coming from, that's pretty good.
We're trying to change. We're doing things,
but not the Christmas fixture. That's
no. You keep the Christmas fixtures. So
it's tradition. I like the tradition.
Well, the Christmas break is changing. No, sorry. So it's the Christmas break. The winter break.
The winter break.
So the winter break happens in February. However, clubs that are having an FA Cup replay have that eat into their winter break.
The 10-day break.
Yeah, the 10 or whatever day.
Well,
I think it's more than 10 days.
Look, I mean, if you don't win, you got to get a win.
Well,
the draws are not. You can't draw. No, basically.
Yeah, you have to organise Italian style before the game.
You got to
look. If it's going to be a draw, one of us is just going to fall on our sword and end it.
Has to, yeah.
But it's very hard with the lower English clubs because they love the replays. In fact, we'll get onto that in a moment.
No, they do. They really want those replays.
They do. And Liverpool actually have fallen into this trap. They drew with Shrewsbury.
Look, Liverpool played a much younger side.
They did.
Like, let's be real. And
they still didn't want to stick around.
Oh no, they wanted to win, but that's what happens when you play a younger side. They can drop a little bit and get pegged back.
Yeah, well, they were 2-0 up, and then they just, conceded twice. Same guy.
Yeah, well, look...
It's a bit like the Newcastle thing, but not as dramatic.
Well, these young teams, when they go away from home, they're a bit different. When they're at home with a home crowd behind them, they'll play a bit better.
Yes, they did play away from home. We're not going to harp into the fixtures too much, but this is relevant to the conversation today. Because we aren't talking about fixtures in specific today. However, we will be talking about just the situation, especially the cups, just the dynamic, in particular England, but in other countries as well. We'll compare it and other sports too. In England it's the last of at least the top 5 leagues. I think any league. I don't think there's any other league that has 2 domestic competitions for all the leagues. The top leagues anyway. England have the League Cup, which the semi-finals, half of that was played this morning.
Yeah, there was, and Aston Villa, well done.
Yeah, well done.
Yep, well done.
But we don't want to harp too much on the fixtures because this will be released well after the date. Yeah. But the point is that the competitions overlap. It's a bit mental, really, and it just makes the congested fixture list just completely out of proportion to other leagues. And so the League Cup finishes in February, but before that happens, all the teams from the Premier League start on the FA Cup in January, and if they don't win their first fixture, then it moves into February. Just to add to that congestion, because you can never have too much congestion in England. It's just
you just need more games, the better.
Yeah,
that's what it's just.
It's all about the people,
entertainment,
and this is a massive contrast to the rest of Europe. And you've got these European managers coming to England now. Not that they've never been there before, but they've never been, let's just say, so high profile and like before. Arsene Wenger came in. It was just sort of English managers at the top.
Well, he was the only
British.
one.
Yeah.
Now there's a lot more European managers in.
And you've got Jurgen Klopp and Pep Guardiola at the top two clubs currently in England. Both very, 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 very unhappy with the fixture congestion. And you can understand where they're coming from. However, going by English tradition, and not just the tradition, but I think it's a good point as well in England. People say you're getting paid so much money, suck it up, right? Abdul was saying that, which is typical.
I understand the argument as well.
So,
plus it also goes back to English, traditions and history. Like that's what they do.
Yeah, well, they invented the sport, and the sport was invented so that people would have a pastime, or
a form of it, or just to
and a form of competition that didn't involve killing,
even to vent your frustrations from
exactly
hard week at work
without killing,
or any sort of violence, really.
Exactly,
you'd hope, but yeah, that's what it was for, really. And a lot of people still do that these days, but it's sort of changing.
And just to give it sort of a bit of context, like you look at Spain, you look at France, you look at Italy, even even though all these countries that have adopted the sport and become very good at it, it hasn't become part of the culture in the same way it did in England.
Yeah, that's right.
In Spain and Italy and all those, there are maybe a league's worth of big stadiums, not even.
There are not as many big stadiums.
Yeah, there's maybe at best probably 30 stadiums that have capacity of 30,000 or more. Let's just say.
Yeah,
possibly less.
Without any research, maybe less.
Without too much research, but
I have absolutely no idea with Spain. Italy don't have many big stadiums at all, to be honest.
And then you go to England, and
not a lot.
There are you got Sunderland in League One with, what's their capacity? I think it's just under 50,000.
Is it just? I thought it was a bit over 50,000. Anyway, 50,000. Let's say it's 50,000.
Craig will never admit to it, but it's.
But that is crazy. That these 50,000 big clubs, with big stadiums,
just all over the country,
just languishing in the League One. It's crazy.
Yeah, and
then you've got Bournemouth with 15,000, whatever it is, in the Premier League. It's crazy.
But it sort of goes with the English way of things. It's in other leagues, the top league is sort of, that's almost maybe in the second division they're still professional, but after that they've got semi-professional teams basically playing in even the second division. In Italy, in Spain, the teams are not. They don't look at the chance of making it into the top division and making a name for themselves. So, like, if they make it into the top division, that is their Champions League. That is the greatest thing they'll ever achieve ever, and that's it. Whereas in England, you have so many teams that have a history. You don't see this anywhere in Italy, Spain, beyond the teams that are already in the first division. Basically, you've got maybe a handful of teams that might be hovering between the first and second division, but other than that, it's. But
that's where they are in the hierarchy. It's like these teams in like Italy, for example. There's teams like Empoli, for example, or Hellas Verona or Chievo Verona. Even they're always just hovering. They go up, they come down, go up. That's their role in the pyramid, in the football pyramid. Just go up and down, up and down. That's it.
And all over Europe, it's very similar.
It's very consistent.
Yeah,
with these teams. Whereas, you're right. In England, it's very different. You can have teams coming up from the Championship and staying in the top divisions for a very long time, and then you can have teams from the top division going down that you'd never expect.
I mean, here you've got
And-
teams that were European Cup finalists.
I mean, Blackburn Rovers.
Yeah,
Think about it. They won the Premier League in '95, I think it was.
Birmingham won the League Cup while getting relegated in the same season.
Yeah.
They were in the Europa League while in the Championship.
That is you're talking about tough
and
fixtures.
they almost made it out of the group.
You're talking about tough fixtures. That is the one tough. That is congested as an hour and a half. That one.
That is brutal. That is.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they finished mid-table that season, but they were in the group stage of the Europa League. That's incredible. That's just nuts. While playing in the Championship, where they have 44 fixtures plus playoffs, if that applies.
Yep, if you finish 36,
which does happen for 4 teams. So that's a lot of fixtures.
So
that's a lot to deal with.
46 games in a season.
Yeah, 46 games, not 44. 46.
46,
correct. Yeah. So it's just this crazy sort of setup, and there's a lot of talk, like in the cup. The managers, like Jurgen Klopp, he's really annoyed about this replay because in the Premier League, sorry, in England rather, the League Cup is slightly better because now they just go to penalties if they don't get a result, and they end it there. However, in the FA Cup, if they don't get a result on the day,
it goes to a replay.
It goes to a second round.
The fixtures get reversed.
So it just adds to the congestion yet again if you can't get that win, and it's not like they don't have enough fixtures to fill up the calendar. But
I think they have made a change with that though. I mean, now it's only a replay up to the 4th round.
Yes.
In the 5th round, it's just does it go to extra time and then penalties? I believe.
It might just go straight to penalties.
Yeah, I'm not too sure with that, but they did make a change.
Yes.
However, it's still up. You're still getting replays up to the 4th round, and Klopp isn't happy, is he?
Oh no! Well, he's gone to the point where he's actually said
he's not happy.
He's going to field a young team. Basically, what he did when
with Aston Villa in the league.
Yeah,
Cup.
and he's going to get the second in command to or not the second in command, but the youth manager basically
to manage
take over.
To manage the team.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't want to be there.
He doesn't even want to be there because it cuts into the break, and that's he's very big on recovery. He's very big on.
Well, it is because you got a lot of, especially in the Premier League. It's a very competitive league, as we've touched on many times, and then he's got the Champions League to worry about, so he hasn't got any easy fixtures.
And an injury list, a building injury list as well. So he has to make sure the players recover.
That's right, and a lot of big players are now getting injured at this time of year because of the fixture pile-ups. It's just
because it's winter.
And that as well, there's only so much the body can take.
Yeah.
And we're clearly seeing that this is pushing the players over the edge. At what point does entertainment become too much?
Yeah.
Because the players are the ones providing the entertainment at the end of the day.
So
I would think you got to look after them.
That's it, right? But so I thought it that way too, right? I look at Klopp's argument, and I think he's right because this is insane. These players can't be expected to go through this. But
I mean, from my perspective, I love entertainment, right? But however, I want to see good entertainment. I would rather give up a week's of entertainment so I can have the best players playing at the top of their powers, right?
And that's the argument that.
Whereas
they make.
I don't want to see a game where the reserves are playing because the top
or
ones
they're limping across the pitch.
Exactly. I would rather take that break.
Yeah.
And understand that these players are not robots. They need to recover. Give them a week off. I'll wait. I'll wait to see the best. That's me.
And yeah, there's truth to that. Obviously, you're not going to get the same quality if you've just got them playing all over and over again.
Even if you've got great players, but they're playing at 50% or 60% of what they can do because it's just their bodies are just struggling to cope.
Yeah, well, they're only human.
Exactly.
Now, the counter argument to that, and I think it's quite valid actually. The counter argument is that they get paid so much in the Premier League, right?
Yeah.
And really, this cup, or just the cups in general, they are much bigger for the teams lower down. It's a chance for giant killing, a bit of glory, playing against the big clubs.
Not only giant killing, even exposure. Like if they play at home and get a replay, they can get to go to Old Trafford or to Anfield.
And the money that comes through
exactly
from that replay.
It's huge for them.
It's enormous because these clubs are obviously.
So maybe it's a good idea for these Premier League to play the reserve
Well, that's the thing,
So
right?
then these little
The
clubs,
assumption,
these little clubs are actually could have more of a chance to get a replay.
exactly.
Yeah.
It would make the cup
Or to knock them out.
yeah, true. And then, but the other thing is, so the assumption, right, is always, like you want them playing the highest quality. The assumption is we need to be playing at the same quality we do in the Champions League. It's another trophy that we can win, etc., etc. For both the League Cup and the FA Cup, right?
Mm.
However, if you really think about it, right, the elite level of play is always going to be in the Premier League and the Champions League. Those are the two elite competitions that Premier League at least clubs
that's what means
we're
the most.
playing in.
Yep.
And however, these cup competitions, right? It's a chance to give the squad a run because the squads have to be big, right? And it can be a chance to develop players that aren't playing
absolutely
in that elite part, and the players that they need during the season for those elite competitions to fill in the gaps when the stars are injured or need rest.
Well, they need to play. They can't just. You can't keep a squad happy just sitting on the bench the whole season. Like they need to play.
Yeah,
it's something.
And
right, so
this plays into there's a third cup competition, which fortunately the Premier League teams do not partake in, but at least not their first teams.
The EFL Trophy
is now called the EFL Trophy. It goes by whatever sponsor they have in the time. Now it's some sort of betting company, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, yeah.
Typical England, but
you can have a bet.
The EFL Trophy is a competition for just the
Leagues 3 and 4.
League 1 and League 2, which is the third and fourth division.
That's right. Yeah,
they've got weird name because
League 1 and 2, correct. Third and fourth division.
Just to give a bit of clarity there for those who don't know, the structure in the English.
It's English Premier League. That's the first division.
Yeah.
The second division is the Football League Championship.
Yeah.
Then you got League 1 and 2,
yeah,
which is the third and fourth division. So there's EFL trophies for those last two divisions, plus 16 under-21 teams from the Premier League.
Or the Premier League or the Championship.
Or the Championship, which make up the rest.
But at
64.
the moment, they're all from the Premier League because those teams are in the Premier League. But I think those teams carry on. So I think Norwich and Aston Villa are in that competition.
Okay.
Last season they were in the Championship. I think they were still in the competition last season. But it's more about certain teams that opt in, I guess. I'm not sure how they get picked exactly, but currently there's 16 teams from the Premier League fielding their under, I don't know which youth teams, under 21s, under 23s, something like that.
I think it's under 21.
The kids, and they don't win generally ever, but.
I know they have won a couple of games, but
no, I'm saying they don't win the actual competition.
Yeah.
So they're young enough that they can't beat league.
It's good development, essentially.
Exactly.
That's what it is.
Now, lots of people are talking about scrapping the League Cup because.
Well, look, personally, I'm a fan of that. I really think that there's no point having two cups for like the top division, like
2.5
or 2.5. Well. As you touched on before we started the show, the EFL Trophy is pretty good because those lower
they get a shot.
league clubs, they get a shot at another trophy, and it's not really going to really congest their fixtures too much.
Well, the thing, League 1 and 2 teams,
the League Cup is for only for the first four divisions of the English,
so let's
only the professional leagues, right?
Well, so we'll just summarise the cups. So the three cups we just went through the EFL Trophy, which is the lowest one. The
League Cup.
The League Cup only has the teams from, as Cos just said, the top four divisions. So
the professional leagues.
The professional league, exactly. Below that, it's considered semi-professional, although they're still pretty professional in England, which is just insane because that's four divisions of professional football.
Training every week,
and that's their job. They're not, because in Germany, they got 18 teams in the top league and so forth. In England, it gets bigger when you got 24 teams, 24 again, I think.
They're all 24, except for the Premier League, which is 20.
Go. Yeah. So big, lots of clubs, all professional. So the top four divisions enter the League Cup. But the FA Cup, that has every single team in England.
Yeah, no matter what division, no matter what, if you're professional or not, you play in that tournament.
And this goes to the culture of England again, because you can't do something like this in other countries. Their league, because everyone's got a
that's what I mean.
domestic cup.
That's the thing. Like, if you're going to scrap a cup, to me, it's a league cup. There's no question about it.
Well, yeah. Well, the FA Cup is the one where everyone gets a chance.
And that's the magic of the FA Cup. It's like this little, theoretically, this like amateur side can win the cup.
Yeah.
Not that it's going to happen, but theoretically, like, crazy results can happen from it.
And
whereas the League Cup is like it's all just for professionals, and like that to me is a congestion, a fixture congestion.
Well, that's why I like the idea of having the League Cup essentially replace the EFL Trophy and have it in the same format as the EFL Trophy. In the sense
replace the EFL Trophy and have the same format.
So similar format. So the EFL Trophy, it has only youth teams from the Premier League.
Yeah, that's right. I
think that the youth teams should play in the League Cup officially. I think that would make more sense.
So you're saying the Manchester, say for example, Manchester United under 21s could come up against the Manchester United first team.
No.
Just get absolutely pounded.
No. The first teams don't play.
In the League Cup.
Yeah, I'm saying the first teams will not play.
Right.
Just the youth, or I don't know which youth team, but you know.
So you would have obviously the Leagues 1 and 2 teams.
Yes.
And the under 21s of the Premier League.
Well, yeah, and the Championship.
I
think the Championship as is. Sure. Surely they're too focused on getting promoted to really care about the cup. But
so the Championship don't have a League Cup. They're not participating.
Oh no, they're in.
Oh, they're in. Okay.
No, because they're currently not in the.
So you're saying
the EFL.
So what you're saying is the 3 lower divisions.
Yes.
All play. They're first teams.
Yes.
Including the Championship.
And the Premier League plays.
They're under 21s.
Or 23s, whatever.
Under 23s or whatever
the go is. Yeah.
That's not a bad idea.
And I think that would encourage development of players. Yeah. And because the Premier League has so much money, a lot of focus goes into, performing.
You could even have, if that's the case, you could even have like a small group stage. Because what they're doing now in the EFL Trophy is you've got a group stage. It's not just pure knockouts. That's what they're doing in the EFL Trophy.
EFL Trophy. So this is the one with...
This is the lower two leagues and the under 21 teams. You could theoretically do something like that for the League Cup.
Oh, but there'd be too many teams then, surely.
No, well, you could work it out. You could even like do it based on like geographic locations or stuff like that.
Which is
something like that.
Yeah, what they try and do in England, they try and keep it regional, and in the FA Cup they do regional up until certain rounds.
And then it gets to a point where you got to absolutely.
Just to compare the FA Cup in England to say Italy, Spain. In Spain, I think they have 64 teams or something like that participate in the cup. Or maybe that was Italy. I can't remember.
Well, Italy it might start even earlier than that. But from what I understand, the City D teams do participate.
Okay.
So it's the top 4 divisions,
and that's their big.
And that's their big cup basically.
That's their big Italia. Cup. Whereas in England,
they don't have other cups as well. They've only got the one cup. They don't have like the League Cup.
One leg.
And it's one-legged up until the semi-finals.
Yeah, whereas in Spain they have two-legged affairs. So it's a bit more like a Champions League. They're sort of built for surviving in Europe, really. And but in England, so compared to that 64 and whatnot, they have 768 or something like that.
England, yeah.
England, they have a lot of teams that play. They've got, I think, 5 rounds before they get to the FA Cup proper, where they basically they sift out.
Well, that's when you start getting the professional teams in and all that sort of thing.
Actually, I don't think the professional teams are even entered yet at that stage.
Right.
But there's like a preliminary round. There's all kinds of stuff though, but the point is, every single team that plays in England, even like sort of your Sunday divisions.
Yeah,
they're first teams, obviously.
Yeah, but they actually theoretically they play in the competition.
Not their third 11, but
yeah,
but yeah, they all come through and they've got a chance to just get some exposure, get some, and it's just like it's if a team. Well, I think that's like 12, 16 rounds or something like that. I can't remember.
Overall, yeah, I haven't.
There's a lot.
I confess I haven't looked at it.
There's a lot.
How many rounds there are, but
so it's a big competition, and it's fitting that it's given sort of, especially for the smaller clubs, it's given a bit of respect. You know?
Absolutely.
But I guess when it comes to you're having, well, and the other thing on top of that is unlike the League Cup, which is played midweek. The FA Cup actually gets played on the weekend, as basically it replaces the league fixtures. And
is that every fixture of the FA Cup was on the weekend?
Yeah,
every fixture.
Well, except for the replays. The
replays are during the week, right?
Playing midweek. So they play. They basically create a break just for the FA Cup, which is.
Well, that goes to show how historical it is for England, how special it was.
Yeah,
that they're playing it on the weekend, like. And it'd be a shame to lose the magic of that. And I think the challenge is to how do we revive it? And for me, what's happening? For me, the only way to do it is to reduce the fixture congestion. Remove the League Cup. Even what you proposed, Mike, with the revamping of the league. You don't even have to remove the League Cup.
Exactly.
But if it's revamped. But then what happens to the EFL trophy? That just continues as normal?
Well, I mean that's them if they want to keep doing it. But I feel like it would essentially be the new EFL trophy in a sense.
A hybrid of the EFL trophy and the League Cup is what it is today. I think that'll be a great thing.
The other thing is
because it seems to work for everyone. The big clubs get to develop players.
Yeah.
The smaller clubs get exposure and still get what they are currently getting. And the FA Cup, like the Premier League teams can actually play their big guns in the actual FA Cup. I think it's a great thing.
And obviously the first team gets a little bit of a breather because the youth team or whoever it is, they also get a bit of exposure as well. The youth team because they get to play on the actual first team stadium. That's
true as well, and especially if there's homegrown talent, the fans will get behind them.
Yeah,
it's a great thing for everyone.
Yeah,
I think.
I mean, look, Cosby commentary. We have all the answers to everything here, but
I don't pretend to be right, but we're thinking. Well, that's what we do.
I don't pretend to be right either, but we are. But no, but but really, it's just it just gets brought up every season, and the FA this season, I love it because what Klopp's done has been quite sort of it's a bit sort of martyrdom, revolutionary thing because no one's ever done it before and said.
Well, Klopp, he's a beast. I love Klopp. He does not care when he's got an opinion. He'll say it. I love it. I respect it.
And for some people, he's gone down in their books, but
because they don't like his opinion. Well, it's an opinion. The opinion's an opinion.
It's not just an opinion though. He's enforcing his opinion. That's
he's
which is the next step.
He's got to do what's right for his team, doesn't he? At the end of the day, he's in that position.
The thing is, one criticism was that he downed tools basically as soon as the result happened. Right, he didn't give time to say, all right, we're going to see what we do, but we're probably going to do this. He said, nah, not happening. Going to do this.
I can see where they're coming from though, because had Liverpool beat Shrewsbury, right, would he have said anything?
No, well,
I reckon he's
talking about just the replays. He's saying not the cup. Don't scrap the cup.
So the replays.
Scrap the replay.
Yeah.
Like the replay is ridiculous.
I suppose that opinion wouldn't change even if they did win the game. So
he said that before the game.
Yeah. He said there you go. So then he's consistent.
He's committed.
He's committed to it, and you got to respect that.
And he did it in the cup.
That's
with interesting results. Like they could get something out of this. It's hard to say.
They could. And the other thing is, like, even if they're playing like the young guys in this revamped League Cup that we're just so great for thinking of, like you start seeing how good these young kids are. Like that Liverpool player, I forgot his name, but he scored that wonder goal against Everton. Jones. It's just like you start unearthing talent that you just may not ever see.
Yeah, they don't get the opportunity.
They don't get to express themselves and to show how good they can be. So I think it's a great thing to revamp it. I reckon.
Well, definitely something for the future. But another thing that this whole situation brings up is this concept of this divide in football that's starting to happen. Arguably, I mean, on one hand, footballers get paid more than ever before. On the other hand, the difference between those who get paid the most and those who get paid the least is larger. However, I don't think the ones that get paid the least are being paid less than they were before. So they're still also getting more money. They're just not getting as big a chunk as, say, the bigger clubs. And this sort of applies both within the countries themselves and across the countries, because now England has financially become the absolute light years ahead dominant.
It's the most financially backed league by far.
They've got,
you can't even compare.
Like they've got clubs that are probably not in the same ballpark as Spain, Barcelona and Real Madrid, but Barcelona and Real Madrid are skyscrapers in a city of hovels, basically. Whereas in the Premier League, they've got these teams that are at least close to those two, but they've got so many more of them. It's just nuts.
It's huge. Yeah. There's too many buildings there.
Yes, tall buildings. It's Tokyo basically.
Tokyo, Chicago, whatever you look at.
Whereas France is really like Paris. It's got the Eiffel Tower and just flat everything else.
Well, PSG is that Eiffel Tower.
Yeah, it's definitely that Eiffel Tower. But that also carries across to the other leagues, because you've got the Premier League just as England, representing England, let's just say, and obviously just Spain, Italy. You've got these big clubs within those clubs that then make it hard for other leagues to break their way into, make a name for themselves. Because there was all this talk at the start of the Champions League knockout rounds.
Speaking from knowledge of the Italian Cup, the lower team
cup or
the Italian
the
Cup,
league?
the Italian Cup.
Yep.
The lower ranked teams in the league, like in the lower divisions, when they move up and play the big guns play at home. So it's like you are not meant to get past this point. That's how it's structured.
Well, at the same time, I think it's also the facilities are significant. They're just not good enough.
The facilities at the bigger stadiums are better, obviously.
Like a lot better.
A lot better. Yeah, absolutely. But
I would be surprised if those pitches were playable.
It's structured, yeah, but
like they probably have goats on the field eating the grass.
That's probably true. No, not the goats part. You need to push
just in San Marino. Yeah.
Yeah, San Marino, yeah. But no, it is structured so your journey is meant to stop here. That's how it's structured.
The other side of that is I don't know if they use VAR technology.
I remember a couple of seasons ago, this City D team beat AC Milan at the Sun Siro. That was amazing. That was actually funny. They've provided me with a lot of entertainment. These
AC Milan,
like
frustration and
at the same time. It's just. Sometimes you just have to laugh at the results they get.
And if you need to laugh, then just look no further than AC Milan. However,
hello, Josh.
Milanistas. But there's this divide allegedly developing now between the big five leagues. There's not really a big five. There's 4 big leagues and PSG, but.
Well, look, PSG is just
but
keep going, yeah.
So this season was the first time that only the top 5 teams made it into the Champions League knockout stage. Yeah. So sorry, the top 5 leagues teams. So only teams from we mentioned this before:
England, Spain, Germany, Italy, and France.
That's it, all PSG. But actually, Lyon made it through.
Lyon made it through. Yeah, don't discount Lyon.
But the league is PSG.
Yeah.
Yep. However, that said, there was a big furore about how football is dead. All this money is going to these bigger leagues, and because of that, it's just like the success follows the money, basically, and everyone's crying. I mean, I don't know where you stand on this, Cos, but like I'm not really shedding a tear for.
Well, you're not shedding a tear for who? Just so we can get this out.
I don't even know who. There's no one to shed a tear for. There's just no one.
So you're more like, this is the way it is, and just
not so much this is the way it is. However, I just mean
I just remember the days when like you had teams like Ajax winning the Champions League. Stoya Bucharest used to win the Champions League.
Well, they've won once.
Yeah, but just saying that the idea, even
a team like them could
even
win
the
it all,
thought
yeah.
could win it. You know, and that to me, that's the beauty of the sport, and that is just not going to happen these days. You know what I mean? It's always that's what the money has essentially done.
I don't think that's true.
Yeah, I think it's true.
The reason I say I don't think that's true is because I'm talking away from the microphone there. It's the format of the competition. It's made now so that it's a bit, you know, the top teams have sort of second chances, you know. Before it used to be just straight knockout. Just if you're out first round, you can come up against Barcelona, you could come up against I don't know.
Well, they were two-legged ties, yeah.
Farmer team from Scotland. Yeah, two-legged ties. So two-legged ties, but it was knockout straight away. And there's 16 fixtures in the first round, 8 in the next one. Then it's the quarterfinals, semi-finals, finals.
Yeah, I remember they had the format of the two group stage format as well.
Well, that's two group stages.
Yeah, they used to have that format. They used to have a group stage of 8 groups, and then there would be 4 groups of 4 teams.
So that's just adding to. That's just making sure that the top teams make it through because there's less chance for a giant killing. That's what the beauty of the FA Cup has.
Yeah,
because the FA Cup is just one round, bang, you win or you lose or you draw and play again. But the point is it's this, you know, the margin for error is much smaller in cup competitions, which is why defense is always important in cup competitions, knockout competitions, because you can't make that mistake. There's no room for error. Basically, if you lose, you're gone. Whereas now you've got this group stage, which knocks out, you know, already most of the teams.
Yeah, like
that could cause issues.
Often managers say now, even you know, it's widely considered the Champions League really starts at the round of 16, and sometimes not even then for some fixtures. So it's like there's always the same teams that are considered the ones that could win it.
Yeah,
it's always like there's these top 8 teams, or I forgot how many there was.
Although now it's changing a lot, mainly because of the Premier League, for 2 reasons. One, the Premier League was not really giving you candidates for the last 10 years, and 2, now they are, and they have a lot of them.
Well, that's exactly right, but it's true though that the money does follow. Like if a club's got more money, generally they're going to do better.
That's statistically proven.
So, you know, it's not the be-all and end-all, obviously, but where the money is, generally success follows.
But also the quality.
And the quality, exactly. And then it's much harder for these other clubs with less money to really compete. Even if they've got the history of like such a successful history, if they haven't got the money, they can't compete. They'll be left behind.
But then on top of that, with this format, you've got now the top 4 leagues get 4 teams in the Champions League getting all that prize money.
For the top 4 ranked
that didn't happen
leagues.
Before. It used to be
that's right.
Just the top team gets the money and everyone else, and there wasn't that much money.
That's the thing. It's structured in that way to favour the big leagues, basically. And with that structure, that's where it's going to go.
It's got this sort of meritocracy, but it's also this sort of false meritocracy because it's, you know, the league, the teams that had nothing to do with it.
And you can understand why there's talk of a European Super League. You can kind of understand it because it's always the same clubs progressing far into the Champions League each season. Like barring like a smaller Ajax, which is an anomaly.
That was a massive anomaly.
Usually it's the same clubs, and then you can see the appeal of the Super League, and like the fan in me says, well, like every week you got PSG versus Barcelona, Real Madrid versus Juventus, whatever. Right? That every week to have fixtures like that is insane. But then it's like, what about the actual league? What about the day like? You know what I mean?
Where's your Benfica's? Where's your Ajax?
Not only that, it's just like the actual league itself, like for the countries. Like, if you were to take Juventus, for me as an Italian, if you were to take Juventus and Inter, heck, even AC Milan, out of the leagues, what is the Italian league then?
Well, what's left?
What's left? It's just like...
Roma and Lazio. They
But
would
that's-
become the new... There is no Milan, it's Roma now.
But that's the point. It's like... And the historical rivalries...
And they don't even have proper red and blue. They've got this, like, sky blue and maroon... So they don't even have the proper red and blue rivalry.
And that's the thing. It's
second rate
and the history,
primary colours.
And the history of the fixtures and the rivalries that went along with it, of the different, like, Juventus and Fiorentina, that rivalry is huge. You take that away, well, you're killing the domestic leagues.
Wait, we're taking Juventus, Inter, and Milan. Well, what about Atalanta?
Yeah, well, look, they're not considered, are they?
They would dominate the Serie A. How amazing would that wouldn't be you know what? Maybe
well,
it's not such a bad thing.
I do have Italian news actually, but we'll get to that. We'll get to that later.
All right.
But even the point, like, if you were to take Liverpool, Man United, Man City, Chelsea, us out of the Premier League, what's left?
Well, very quickly there would be new teams that take. In England, I think it's a different thing. That's the thing.
Well,
it's very different.
But
England,
it would still kill the like. Imagine all the viewers going from the leagues. How many would view the Super League? Like, is anyone really going to care? Unless you're a fan of those clubs, are you going to watch the leagues?
That's actually an interesting thing you bring up, because in England, I feel it would be different. Because in England, there's actual fans of teams below the Premier League, like a lot of them.
No, but I understand that.
I'll just expand on this.
No, I understand that. However, in terms of, like, viewership, like, it's going to drop.
Not in England.
It will. It still will.
No, well, people go into stadiums and things like that. That's a big part of the culture, right? However, you're right in terms of global viewership, because a lot of the fans are obviously from overseas, because they're just so big, expands to overseas.
And most fans from overseas would go for a big club.
Obviously.
Most of them.
They have to, because the only pull for a club otherwise is going to the stadium. So what's the point of going for a club if you're not going to the stadium? Whereas in England, there's a big culture of, go for your local team, Even people who are fans of, say, Arsenal, right? And, Manchester United and things like that, they often still have their own local team that they go for. And they go to the games. Because if they don't live near Old Trafford, which isn't actually in Manchester, but we won't get into that. Yeah. But if they don't live near these big clubs who they also support, they still go to the local games, right? And that could be in League 2. That could be
you're right. You're right about that. Yeah, I agree.
Whereas in other countries, it's sort of a you have your team, and that's sort of it. Like, you got the big clubs that you might go for. They'll have their rivalries. Although I have to say, France and Germany are a bit more of a, other than their dominant teams, the rest of the clubs, they're quite sort of equally spread out, and I think they've got some good rivalries there, and it's a bit more similar to England. But say Spain and Italy, it's really, you've got the big clubs, and the rest.
Italy have Juventus, and then the Milans, and then
No, they've got some. They got
no, really.
Let's just call
it's those three.
Europa League level teams, right?
Yeah, a lot of them.
So it is, in terms of historical importance, it is a bit of a drop, but they're still quite relevant teams. Probably all the way up until at least like 10th or something like that. You've got at least 10 teams in Italy which have a good following, at least. Not an elite following. So you got
good following.
So you got
absolutely.
those three with the elite following,
and
then you got a strong following for the next sort of 6 teams, maybe.
Well, Napoli have a very strong following.
Yeah, exactly.
And
Lazio and
Roma have big followings.
Atalanta's picking up.
I don't know if they are. But
no, they're still a small place.
Well, those little fans, those small numbers are very active at the moment.
They are very active. But yeah, so, but yeah, I think having a Super League would definitely, because you can see the appeal for these places, like in Spain, in Italy, PSG. I'm not saying the big clubs in France. I'm saying PSG, maybe Bayern Munich and like that's the other thing, that there's a handful of clubs in Germany who could make a claim for
The Super League.
well, yeah, like entry into the Super League. So
Well,
that
you got Bayern, and then
it wouldn't work so well there, I don't think.
well,
It really is
well,
for
if,
Italy
if,
and
you're,
Spain.
if you're talking Germany, Bayern's definitely in.
Oh yeah, Bayern would definitely,
and then
they would want to do it as well.
Look, really, Dortmund's probably the only other one.
Leipzig,
recently, yes, but historically, Dortmund's the only other one.
but historically, even Dortmund weren't that high,
Yeah, but they've won the most leagues, barring Bayern Munich.
not by much.
Yeah,
Only because of recent history.
yeah.
So they're sort of in a similar bracket to Leipzig, except they were also had a bit of history to go. Whereas Leipzig is a very
yeah,
new
you're right,
thing.
and that's the other thing. Like, how do you go in and out of this league? you just random. Is it like the AFL football where you just in every season? You're guaranteed. That's not good either. So
No, it's not, as we've seen with the AFL.
Well, the
But
AFL's
it would
different,
be boring. But like for these clubs, there's enticement. In England, it would not catch on at all. They would revolt.
well, the fans were.
Or they would talk about revolting, never do it. But you know they'd be angry.
Well, if you say you're a Liverpool fan, you
Yeah.
say you're living in England, they go into the Super League. Would you be unhappy?
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, Liverpool fans definitely, because Liverpool fans, I know that they're very,
Okay.
because they're very much because Liverpool fans are low class, like
Working
socioeconomic,
class. Working class. There's nothing wrong with being a working class.
yeah, working class. Wrong wording.
Working class men.
Yeah, so they're
It's a good song.
working class fans. Sort of
Very
that
good
makes
song.
up a huge cohort of the local fans,
Okay.
right? And they're very big.
I
on,
like the working class. You're passionate.
They empathise towards their sort of the clubs that are in their area.
Yeah, and the community and the locals. Yeah,
Yeah,
they're right involved.
And they have.
And
that's
that's how they think they've got to beat those Evertons.
Yeah.
That's how they think. You know?
and they have an annual game against a team that I think that their under 23s play on their ground. I can't remember what they're called, but
Okay.
they're in League Two.
Well, that's
I think
good.
now.
No, well, personally, that's good to hear because personally, I'm not a fan of the Super League idea. I would rather keep it the way it is and tackle the problems as they present themselves, but not by producing.
But
a Super League.
it is a rich idea, and it's very Spanish. Like the Spanish teams, by far the biggest beneficiaries if something like that happened, because
absolutely
they've already got a Super League in their own league. They've just got. They've got Barcelona, Real Madrid,
Atletico Madrid,
just
recently
sucking up all the money. Yeah, Atletico's getting, basically a cut. That's the
very
way
good
to put
cut,
it.
but
a decent cut,
okay, but yeah, it's a
still,
cut. It's still a cut.
It's still nothing. Well, it's probably half of what they get.
So it's a very
which
good
is still
cut.
a lot,
Yeah.
compared to everybody else
Yeah.
in Spain.
That's the problem.
And they're just all for that. They're just for feeding the rich and just stuffing.
And again,
the
that
poor.
goes back to it's just the way things have always been done,
Yeah.
and let's just keep doing it.
And they
that's-
want that to translate into
Yeah.
Super League. However, now with the Premier League getting so much revenue now and being so far ahead of everybody else and actually spreading their money around, unlike most of the other leagues,
That's what I like about the Premier League.
they distribute the money, at least the money they get from TV rights,
Yeah,
based on. There is a little bit.
there's
based
more
on
of an effort,
popularity.
though, but there's still more of an effort, and that's a good thing about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The distribution, I think it's split 3 ways. So there's a set amount that every club gets, which is huge. Right? That's already like more money than they'll ever see anywhere else ever. And then there's the money they get for how much coverage they get, and the clubs that are more popular will get more of this money. But it's still maybe I don't think it's even as much as the money that they all get as a baseline. And then on top of that, they get money for where they finish in the league. So if a team does really well, like Leicester has this season, they get rewarded for it.
That's it. It's a reward-based system, but it still shows that you get rewarded, but we don't leave the little ones behind
Exactly.
as much. And that's what it's about. It's a nice balance.
And
I like that balance.
And rather than sort of just shunt all the, like just destroy, going back to, I guess, the start of this whole this conversation about the cups, about thinking about the little guys and how it's not all about the big teams, right? It's about sort of that football in general in the country. It's worth thinking about, even though all this money is going into, say, the Premier League, if some of that money comes back down to that's the other thing as well. Even though they spread well amongst themselves, the Premier League, because they're a separate entity to the other
leagues.
The other leagues. The other leagues are run by a different
company.
Yeah, a different company.
Different company. I don't know what the name. It's different company.
Yeah. So the FA is the one that runs the Premier League, and the Football League is the one that runs the rest.
Yeah,
hence,
okay.
the Football League Cup, the Football League Trophy, etc.
So that's going to have big problems scrapping the revamping. Anyway, keep going.
And there's a bit of talk about funneling that money back through, maybe not quite to the grassroots level, but sort of sifting it down to even the league clubs. But then, of course, then there's going to be a gap between the league and the rest, like professional and non-professional, and you sort of there's always going to be, where does it stop? But I think definitely that the development of other clubs throughout this, like a changed League Cup, for example, like what we were saying.
I like the idea of a revamped League Cup.
The youth Premier League teams having it's developing the youngsters, and also another part of it, I feel like the Premier League clubs can afford to have the money go towards the other clubs and developing them through the cup, maybe as just a way.
It's not bad
because I mean the Premier League clubs can really sort of afford to.
It's not bad. It's not bad, Mike.
Yeah, but I mean, there's also those clubs that came up from the Championship, so they'll be wanting that money, whatever they can get their hands on. But
there's no easy solution.
Yeah, there's no easy solutions, but I guess it's.
Well, we've got to keep thinking.
We got to keep thinking.
That's all we got. That's all we can do. If you stop thinking, then things just get worse.
And after all that,
and think good things. By the way, don't think about bad stuff, because then that's how things get worse. So think.
Happiness is a choice.
Is it?
It is a choice.
Okay.
Will that change your life?
I choose to be unhappy.
You choose to be unhappy? That's fine.
And I'm not going to complain about it.
Yeah,
it's my choice.
I'm going to be happily unhappy.
I'm not going to bother anyone else. I chose to be unhappy. That's it.
And just to finally get some closure on these.
That's a joke, by the way. I choose to be happy. Okay?
Choose to be happy. Not all clubs actually get this 14-day break.
Well, as we said, the ones that need a replay, they're not going to get the break.
No, actually, it's
the FA Cup.
It's more sinister than that.
Postpone fixtures as well?
No. It's worse than that. In England.
What's this?
So for this break, they said, we're going to give you a winter break.
Okay.
However, half the teams have got to play in 1 week, and then half the teams
will play the next week. That's nice.
So half the teams get the break the next week. Half the teams get the break. So half the teams will get the break in the second week of February.
Still.
And half of them will get the second week.
Still.
Because they got to have fixtures.
You must have entertainment.
Yeah, something has got to be going on. There's got to be something to watch. It's tradition.
My God. I mean, look, English fans, please. And there are people running the game, right? There are other sports. All right? The world is connected now. You got cable TV. There's you can stream sports from all around the world. There are things going on.
But there's no cricket in the winter.
There's Super Bowl is on Monday. Just watch it. All right, you might actually like it. I don't know. There's the NBA. You got American sports. There's sports happening everywhere. The Australian Open's on. Watch something. Things are happening.
I think by the time the breaks come in, those sports will all be finished.
You don't even have to have. It doesn't have to be sports. Read a book. Go for a walk. I don't know. Find
cold.
something.
It's wintry. It's snowing.
Put on a coat. My God, man.
You heard him.
If the Eastern Europeans can walk in -10, I'm sure you can find a way to do it.
-24, but
-24.
You heard him, fellas. Get a coat. Grab your dog. Go for a walk. Do something productive. Go. Maybe actually go play football yourself.
This is
go play actual football.
Well, you
with
can't
yourself.
play on icy pitches.
But
But
you play in the snow. It's fine. You know.
well, you can in the snow,
kick the
but
ball around.
if there's ice on the pitch, you can't. But no, but you can see where I'm coming from. It's about the welfare of the players, providing that entertainment. I want good entertainment.
That's it. I mean, that's foreigners talking. So who are we to say anything? But
I feel prepared. Be prepared to just. Feel free to just comment and say I'm an idiot, which I don't understand anything. But, yeah.
But I think we'll end it there. So thanks
Yeah.
for listening to our FA Cup special or the Cup
the
special.
Cup special.
The Cup special.
Fixing the cup and the
Fixing
congestion,
the
the
cup.
congested fixtures. That's what we're about.
Be sure to check out our Facebook. Facebook, less important. YouTube page. Cosmic Commentary. It's hard to miss because there's only one Cosmic Commentary, and we have all the solutions. We have all the solutions.
It's the Real Football Podcast. That's what we're about.
The Real Football, because we talk about real football.
And the real football, like genuine.
And the real football.
Yeah, European football.
And on that note, we're going to be watching the Super Bowl.
Yeah, which is not the real football.
Not the real football, but it is a football. So thank you for listening. If you have not subscribed, please do so, or at least consider it. Make sure to share this around if you enjoyed it as well.
Absolutely.
And on that note, until next week.
We'll see you then.
Talk to you then.